Oh my God. This is hilarious. What's up, family? What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Bits of Tea. I'm so weak right now. Every episode, it never fails. It's awesome. Okay. Um
Every episode. It's trifling.
Oh my God. Every single time. But you know what? It would not be right.
It
It
wouldn't.
it literally I
It
don't even think we
wouldn't.
can control it at this point.
No,
It just happens
it
on its
just
own.
happens. Yeah.
It happens on its own. And mainly because we're learning every single time. It's
Every
always
time. Well,
something.
because and two, like think of it this way: like, when you're your own production, you're your own
True.
everything.
True.
It's just might as well just like go with it because it is
Right.
what it is. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So like when you're wanting to literally change lives in some type of way,
It doesn't matter.
it
right?
doesn't matter. You
Truly.
know, it doesn't matter if my forehead and everything's in the damn
Right.
camera. You know, it
Right.
doesn't matter if I'm going around the
It really
microphone to hit the
don't.
button. Like this is just who we are and what we do, man. Like it's
I
just
love it.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
I
nah,
love
let's
it.
forget that whole thing.
It's so raw and like eclectic and human shit. It's real.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. But welcome to another week, you guys. Before we get into the conversation, because this conversation is so recent. Like y'all, I'm talking about like
Check your mic too.
today.
Yeah, like turn it.
Yeah, I got it turned.
Okay.
Hello.
There you are. You sound so much better. You always want to like shy away from it. I feel.
Probably, but I don't know.
Yeah, now your voice is big. Perfect.
Yeah, probably because for a long time I was struggling with showing up behind inanimate objects like a camera or phone. Remember how it was? Like I was so stressed. Like I literally would find it so hard and nearly debilitating to show up live on a camera. Like the setup, the getting prepared to show up was just horrendous. And I know that's for a lot of people. And it's only because we're working on our own selves, right? Like, and we're putting ourselves on Front Street. So we're being seen. Like, we want to be seen, right? We want to be heard. We want to be acknowledged. But then we forget the fact that by wanting that, we have to be seen. Like, we actually have to be heard. Like,
Yeah.
So I went through that for a little bit. So that's probably what
It
that
could be what it is, man.
the resonance of it is like I'm pushing through, even though it's like, let me not get too close because, but I'm already in it. I love it.
It's just amazing. You have such a big voice, and what you represent and present. It just blows my mind the fact that you even have an inkling of what we used to call it nervousness, but that excitement or these
excitement for me now.
yeah, you'd have moments of that, but still then it was nervousness. I can't call it nervousness. Like so because now it's excitement. But then it was just like
anxiety.
Lord, it was like
is I don't know what.
but still like would not present yourself as none of that.
That's
so
crazy.
It's like it almost looks like okay, now you playing with me. Like now you're playing with me because like you do this on a regular basis. What you mean you can't be behind the camera?
I would forget my words. I would like feel like my voice is shaky. I can hear it. I'm just like a wreck. Like I'm not prepared.
But the composure was real though. Your composure was awesome in the midst of that nervousness. That's all I'm gonna say.
Breath work.
So
yeah,
you was just
like
breathing. Yeah.
Breathing. Literally.
In between all of it, just
and like
releasing.
Yeah, and just telling yourself like you're here, like you're gonna do it. You're gonna move forward, like you're going to do it anyways. And then remember when we saw one of our top artists from Jamaica, beautiful dark skinned queen, and she sings oh my gosh, I can't even think of the song. Like Mango, I think it's called Mango. It tastes just like mango. I don't know, something like that. But she was on stage, she was performing live, and she was on stage and she was like, "Oh my God, I'm so nervous." She said it like just like that,
blurted
crazy.
it out. And it was just looking
came out.
like, what? And I was like, that, if tangibly,
my mouth was on the floor. I was like, sis.
That was a tangible example of you watching you. If somebody watching you would say the same thing.
That's so crazy. So. Yeah, it literally took me aback because I'm like, her composure is so awesome. She is working the crowd. Like she is singing her ass off.
Yes.
Beautiful as ever. I mean, like everything was so divine. Like it was so perfect. And then she's like, I'm so nervous. But it was very inspiring to see and to know that this is really a human thing. Like, we're all so deeply connected, it makes no sense. Like, we
Absolutely.
put, like, people on the industry and on TV or of a status, like, on a different pedestal, like, we're not the same type of person, like a human being, you know? And everybody goes through that, so it's comforting to know that I'm not the only one, because 'cause be
Absolutely.
taking me and you through hell.
Mhm.
I'm like,
I
"Sis,
agree
I
with you.
can't." I love how this is, like, the opening of the conversation,
Yes.
but before we get into the tea, because 'cause we're still not there, we're literally just catching up.
Yeah, that's literally it.
I
I feel
love
like I
it.
need to turn the ring light on.
Go ahead and see what it do.
Yeah,
Let's
let
see
me
what
do
it
it.
do real quick before I get into it. Right. Yes. Shout out to Sound Mind and Body Wellness, you guys. If you do not know, Sound Mind and Body Wellness offers therapeutic massage for spiritual healing. This is total alignment of the body, the mind, and the spirit. It is truly an experience. And we are inviting our new clients to come in for 30 minutes on us as a thank you and a welcome. And so all you have to do is visit our site, smbw number 2.com, to fill out the application to work with us and then receive your free gift. Okay. SMBW number 2.com. And y'all already know what it is. Let me see. Well, I was like, I look good.
Is it too bright?
I don't think so. I don't know. How does it look for you?
Yeah, it looks I feel like it looks better.
Okay. Then we'll rock with the
Alright,
light.
we'll
The
rock with it.
sunflowers look so good.
Right.
She's like, "Hey girl, like I'm here for, I'm it's all about me right now." Yes, it is. So beautiful.
Yeah, man, that's funny. That's funny.
Yes, yes. Okay.
So, yeah, man, I'm back. You know what I'm saying? Learning experiences. I just love what we do, man, I swear.
I love
Shout
it
out
too.
to Tribe, everybody,
Oh
too.
my
We love y'all
gosh.
so
Shout out
much.
to family. Y'all are
You
literally
guys are
amazing.
awesome.
Our
Love y'all.
sisters, our family, our cousins. Like,
Absolutely.
we're so incredibly favored. I'm just gonna like just give gratitude right now, like we usually do,
Let's do it.
because we've been having some really we have courageous conversations with everybody on a daily basis just
Yeah,
because of what we do. So we support, the general public. And so but the people who come in here are like us. They're vulnerable AF. They are, self-aware, and they cut straight to the chase. Like, there's no small talk. We don't do small talk here. Literally, we don't do small talk. I was gonna say literally, that's like my favorite word. But I also, this is a sidebar tangent. I don't know if I saw this or I read this somewhere, but it was like, if you use filler words like that all the time, it means that like you don't have enough words in your vocabulary. And I'm like, wow. And as I'm reading more, because this year I'm like, I want to read more because I want to. And I'm writing, or I'm sharing my writing now, and I'm reading other people's work, and I'm learning so many new words. So I just caught myself about to say literally, like lit, because it's like I don't want to keep using that same word. I want to use all the words that I have in my database. And it's just like telling myself that, reminding myself like I have more words that I could use.
funny that you said that. Your fillers are my I'll stop,
Mhm.
and I'm thinking about what to say next.
That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah. And mine's is like I'm not thinking about what to say next. It's just I'm just using a quick word to get me to the next word, like really, really fast. And it's like, I could do that with more other words though. Like, I don't have to keep using literally. So that was a sidebar. Anyway, back to what we were talking about.
Yeah, I love it. Like, I think it still all encompasses the same thing.
Right,
It doesn't matter.
right.
Say literally all you want. I think it's cool.
What were we talking about before I went on that tangent? We were talking
So
about, oh,
re
reading.
yes.
No,
No,
that
no,
was a
no,
tangent.
that
That
was
was a
the
tangent.
tangent. Y'all need to write it in the chat if y'all was paying attention. Like,
We are
write it
so
in
wrong for
the
this.
chat.
We are so wrong for this.
Blessings, blessings. Write it in the chat.
No, I
Ooh.
was giving gratitude. There we go. Came back.
See, that's what I love. Like, did-did-did-did-did, did-did-did-did-did. Let's probably get the hand clap real quick.
Let's go, spirit. Let's go. All
Yes,
right. So, yes, I was saying that we are so incredibly favored, um, to be in the space that we are with our family and our community and our comrades. You know what I mean? Like, the conversations we've been having lately with our clients, have
courageous.
been so courageous and so deep and so transformative, to say the least.
Mhm.
However, I realize how many people are so are making the conscious and righteous choice to detach or dissociate from their family, like their immediate family, the blood family, because of the amount of trauma that is not being acknowledged.
Mm.
Like the people that come to us are the only people in their circle of influence or their families that are actually doing the work to be better, like a better human being, not a victim anymore. You know what I mean?
And removing themselves.
Removing, but they're removing themselves because of the choices their families are making, like their siblings, their parents, whoever. They're not making the choice to be better with them. They're just choosing to stay
Yeah.
in the pain and the trauma because it's familiar. And so in these conversations, we like people are so disconnected from their immediate family. And I'm so much more grateful for our connection with our family because
Mhm.
it's awesome. Like we talk to our sisters on a daily, like weekly basis, weekly, daily basis. Like we talk to our cousins, like, at least on my side. I can't speak for your
Right.
side, but
I'm shaking my
I'm
head.
saying like us because my
Family.
people rock with you. Like they literally will hit you up and call you without needing me in the middle. You know what I mean? So I think that's beautiful too. But yeah, like shout out to my family, man. Like if any of my family members are watching this, just know that I loves you. Shout out to y'all. Cause we really are lit. Like I really love my family.
Yeah, fam is super dope. I'm just
Yeah.
I'm super thankful for that though. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah, it feels so good, like, feels so, so good. When we hear people say, like, "Yeah, I don't speak to my sister." I'm like, "What?" Like, when my sister don't answer my call on the first try, I'm texting her like, "Yo, why you ain't pick my call? Like, what are you doing? You at work? You working? What you doing?"
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah,
And
you are
so
very
grateful.
fortunate to have
Mhm.
relationships in that way with your sisters
Yeah.
in regards to like, you know, the many
Mhm.
that have discord with their
Right,
siblings,
right.
which is
It's real.
it's real and it's like, damn.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say this too, for those of us who are creating healthy boundaries and distancing yourself because you know the environment triggers you, like that is such what's the word that I want to use? That it's honorable.
Mm.
Like it's the right thing. You're doing the right thing. You know what I mean? Like you can release and let go of the shame and the guilt because a better you is a better them, is a better us. Shout out to Sierra.
Yep, for
A
that
better
one.
you is a better me.
Yep.
And it's just what it is, you know? Like it's just what it is.
Yeah.
That's it. No judgment, no hard feelings. It's all good. So let's get into the conversation. This one for me is current, is right now. And so I wanted to bring it to the table.
Yeah.
I already asked Jade to like join me in the conversation because I'm in it currently. So I already know that I'm getting ready to learn so much. I'm about to gain so much more clarity and assist my own body with the release of what's going on. But I'm not the only one going through it, and that's the beautiful thing. So this conversation is going to serve a lot of us. Trust me when I say that.
I agree.
So
And I'm ready. Let's
yeah.
get into it. Let's
Okay,
dive
cool.
in.
So the topic of discussion is all about the mother wound.
Mhm.
Um, for those not familiar with the mother wound, this is basically unacknowledged trauma, pain, hurt on the mother side of the family, like the generational things that have been passed down um, to everyone, right? So I was inspired with this topic because I, for one, am moving through it myself, but also I've been coming in close proximity to some other amazing women who are also going through the same thing at the same time,
Mhm.
right? They're not in the space that I am because just because like everybody is on their own journey, the timeline is different, it's unique to you. So we're in different spaces. Like I'm in a space where I'm actually good and I have boundaries and I'm in a place of releasing and acknowledging my mother wound and what that is and what it looks like and the triggers. But some of the women that I've been talking to are not in that space, but they're
Mm.
on their way. Like they're on the same exact frequency. They're just on a different or a previous process. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mhm.
Like in the awareness phase of it. Um, But anyway, so the title of today's topic was inspired from the blog that I wrote on Substack earlier, and it said, it's my fault. Mother wound kept me small."
Mm, mm,
And so I want to talk about that because the mother wound, like the concept of the mother wound, revealed itself to me when when I had my reading with Francesca. You remember? And I had no idea. Well, I'm not gonna say I had no idea. I didn't label it as a mother wound, but I was very familiar with similar cycles that have been going on throughout my life for decades that you helped me come to realize. And a part of like what created those cycles came from the mother wound.
mm,
You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
It came from the mother wound. So anyway, I've been doing a lot of shadow work because I've already made the decision and the declaration that I'm going to be better. Like I'm going to be better. I'm going to break generational curses. I'm going to, be financially liberated, and I'm going to, serve my community. All these things, right? We say and we want to aspire to become all these things. But when we say that we want to aspire to become all these things, we have no idea of what's required to become. You know what I mean? We
right,
have no clue
right,
where the changes are needing to be made because we're in the behavior, we're in the thought process, we're in the pattern. So all we can acknowledge really is the undesirable outcomes in life that we experience. We don't necessarily connect the dots as to like how we play a part in the
mm,
outcome.
mhm,
We don't see that
mhm,
connection at first,
mhm,
but we do see the undesirable outcome.
mhm,
We see it repeatedly, and but it's and it came to a point for me where I started to question the outcomes, like why does this keep happening? You know what I mean?
that's the first step to ask yourself the question.
Why does it keep happening? Why does this cycle keep happening?
Yeah.
And this, of course, this was 2018 when these types of questions started to come up for me. So it took literally 2018. I was 28. Like I had Kimmy at 23. So 23 was when I first started diving into personal development with Herbalife. And so from 23 into 28, like that's 5 years of like no awareness, but having the acknowledgement of the undesirable outcomes. Like I was definitely aware of what I did not want to keep happening. And it was happening over and over and over again. Right. And then so yeah, I lost my train of thought, but
You never do lose it. You never do lose it at all.
so it took 5 years. It took 5 years, I guess, for me to come to the awareness that like there was cycles going on and that like, yo, why is this happening to me? So I started asking those type of questions. And my
Facts.
transformation, my awakening began there,
Right.
2018. And
Mhm,
so fast
mhm,
forward to now,
right.
that I've been doing all this work, everything supports it all. So I see that. But right now, currently, I've been I've been specifically working with the mother wound of "It's My Fault," which came up in a reading.
Mm,
And all that came up in the reading with this mother wound supported the cycles that I had became aware of on repeat, like major sabotaging life transitions. I'm talking about y'all. Major. And it's okay. Like everybody experiences, everybody faces this. However, I'm like, I don't want to face this no more. I want to learn the lesson. I want to change whatever behaviors on my part so that I
mhm,
can create something different, right?
mhm,
Have a different outcome. And so in my reading, the mother wound comes up, and it's what spirit said was it was very, very deep, generational, you know? And I saw this in my birth chart, but it also came up in the reading. I was like, in this lifetime, I'm here to heal my mother wound.
mm,
This lifetime,
mhm,
I'm here to heal it.
mhm.
So I'm gonna always like it's always gonna be triggered, but only so that the energy or the emotion or the detachment that's ready to happen can actually come up and out. And this is
Facts.
generations of hurt and pain and trauma. Now, this is an interesting part.
Mhm,
So that was the first part of like the topic, right? But the second part supports it. I mean, it goes hand in hand.
For sure.
So what else came up in these conversations with women that I've been having were how common narcissistic personalities ran
Mm,
within everybody's mother. And I'm like, I'm saying like everybody's describing characteristics and attributes of their mom, and it's everything is the same across the board. Across the board, same words. Isn't that uncanny?
very much so. I think it's uncanny because, like, as you know, I was listening in as
Mhm.
well,
Mhm.
and you were relaying what I missed.
Mhm.
It's just being able to be like, wow, like that's also mine.
That's real.
Like, whoa,
Yeah.
like how common is this? What's this? This is wild.
Right. It's wild, right? And nobody, I'm not gonna say nobody. In my experience, I've not heard anybody question it
Right,
because I don't think people know that they're not alone.
right,
I feel like women really feel like it's just their mom. Like, no, it's just my mom. She's my mom is just this way. And it's a lot of moms are that way. And
right,
that's what I'm realizing. A lot of moms are that way. But why? I started to question why a while ago before I was even aware fully of a mother wound,
right,
right? I've been doing the work for years since 2018. And so why do a lot of mothers express narcissistic personalities? That's a new one, right? Like, wow. And I started to dig deeper.
fact.
And so in my research, um, I had a very beautiful, very courageous conversation with my own mother that gave me so much clarity and so much understanding for why she expressed the way that she did.
Mm,
Like why how her thought processes could have been formed, the patterns, the beliefs, you know what I mean? The expressions, all of it made sense in her story that she was telling in the stories that she was telling me. And a lot of times we don't even acknowledge the fact that our mother has a mother wound because we
right.
don't know we
There
have
we
a mother
go.
wound.
Right.
We don't know that that exists. We don't know that we're wounded from generations passed down, and we can only see the experience of the pain because we're actually still in it. So you see your mom as a contributing factor, a major piece of the puzzle because of her expression, and
Right.
then you as the child is in the outcome. And so you have this interesting dynamic of like, you know, mother and daughter, but it's not it's like this. You know what I mean? Like it's
It's
totally
Clash of the Titans.
right. It's
Literally.
dysfunctional. I mean, that's
Mhm.
just what it is. It's
Mhm.
dysfunctional. It's
Mhm.
dysfunctional. It's totally flipped.
Mhm.
So in my Substack post, it just it was so awesome because I was able to gain clarity within my own, within my own mother wound. But I'll go into the story real quick of how this mother wound was triggered because in my reading, I was also told that I'm always going to be triggered. Like the mother wound is always going to be triggered and it's going to show up in different ways. There's going to be
Mhm.
different things that trigger it. But each time that you're triggered and each time that it comes up, you're going to be given the opportunity to clear it, release it, you know what I mean? Transform it. And sure enough, that is exactly what I felt or what I feel is going on now. Because what happened was you literally just said, I don't appreciate the secondhand information,
Yeah.
right? And
And yeah,
yeah, go ahead. You can chime
I
in.
was gonna say, yes, and that's what I said that morning. Um, and I was gonna say this because you didn't know this because you got me with surprises. You get me with some surprises on the show, on the podcast. So you
What?
didn't know this
Uh-huh.
part
What was the surprise?
of the story
Uh-huh.
of
Oh, you're
like,
telling me a new part. Okay.
yeah, the new part of the story. Um, so yeah, when I was woke up that day and then because I was just like kind of unappreciative of the feelings, um, I was up at like 2 like 3 a.m. I was up for like a few hours, just eyes open,
Mm.
looking at the ceiling and tired of just going through the shit that was going on with my body and everything
Mhm.
like that. And I'm
Yeah.
just like sitting there and I'm just like, man, sabotage tries to come in.
Really?
Yeah, all the time. And it's just like, and the sabotage was more on the lines of like feeling unloved, feeling all these like weird
Really?
things, right? It's crazy. And it's just like, what in the hell is going on? But I
Right.
actually was able to full force combat those things and bring
Mhm.
myself back down because as you go through stuff, it's like things come out of me, but I'm able to now just really get a hold of it. uh,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So in the midst of that, just being still tired
Mhm.
as well as my body going through what it's going through. And then
Mhm.
also on top of that, the way I am with information,
Right.
that's how the regurgitation is. Like I don't appreciate
Right.
the misinformation, like
Mhm.
which triggers.
It triggered my mother wound.
Right.
Yeah.
This isn't
Um,
how we found out that we are catalysts for each other.
yeah, we're purpose mates, and this is how we know that we were meant to be because, like, you cannot plan this. It just always happens naturally on its own. That's very interesting. So you were probably feeling yeah, I could see that. You was probably feeling some of the feelings that I was
Could have
feeling.
been, you know what I'm saying? I
Right.
never really tapped into, like, possibly how sensitive I could be to, like, how you're
Mhm.
feeling too, and
Right.
taking it on as, like, my feelings. Because I normally that's I think is how I was able to combat it. Because 'cause I'm like, "There's nothing wrong," like, I always go back to that, you know, and I'm like, "My nervous system, everything feels good, like, right now, like, I just wanna go to sleep."
But the thoughts is what were
Mhm.
formulating in your head.
Yeah, and then but yeah, so
That
that's
explains the tone then because
yeah, that was a tone.
so basically what happened was nothing crazy happened, y'all.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
What happened was I was wanting to, plan the day, like, I wanted to get some information on I wanted to have a meeting, basically. I wanted to set up a meeting with one of our dear sisters, and I wanted to do it as soon as possible because I'm excited and I'm ready to get moving with a new project, and that's it. And so we have a lot on our plate. And so, um me knowing that, I was like, "Okay, I can handle this." Like, I can set up a meeting real quick, get some information, handle it, boom, done. And so, as I was trying to figure out the day, like, "Okay, like, let me see where I can fit the meeting in the day,"
For sure.
I just asked Jade, "Do you have anything going on in the afternoon because X, Y, and Z," the plans, right, that I was thinking about. They weren't concrete, but they were just,
That's where it
being
get me
set
at
up.
right there.
They weren't concrete. And so that's what it was. And so when I asked her the question, she was just like, you know,
I don't appreciate the secondhand information.
yeah, just like that. Like, I don't appreciate the secondhand information. Yeah. And I was just like immediately triggered. It wasn't like no wait
But I wasn't even
time.
thinking about it.
You wasn't.
I wasn't thinking about it at all.
You wasn't. But you never are thinking about it when you're stern and when you're like
It's just yeah, right,
direct or
it's just
whatever
really
like that.
express it's like the expression, like, parts of that has to come out, so it's just like and I admit it, like, yep,
Right.
it was harsh, yep, it was that
And
because
it
that's what wanted to be expressed in
and
that
that's fine.
moment.
And that's fine because Coco gives it to you right the damn she gives it to you right
Hell,
back.
and I just be like, "What?"
Yes, I needed that. It comes
All the
back to you all
time,
the time.
yo, like, and I just be looking like, "Come
But
on,
but
bruh."
I feel like you want that response because of the energy you give. Like, when you give that sharp, direct energy and you receive it back, I feel like you like it. I feel like you like it a lot, and that's why you do it. I could be wrong, but you've done it quite enough times for me to be like, you enjoying this."
I have
Like,
no idea how if I have not tuned into that just yet, so maybe I'll pay attention next time.
I don't
Pay
know.
more attention, like, if I like it or not. I think I'm I am getting to the point of, like, trusting that whatever exchange is happening,
Mhm.
we're going to get through it. But I
That's how it's
love
been.
yeah,
That's how
because
it's
it's
been.
like
We
it
set that at the table, though,
yeah, so it's just like but we're practicing it all the
all
time,
the
so
time.
that's what it is, it's like feeling safe enough to be able to express that side,
Mhm.
but it's not a harsh and, to be taken personal, like, it still hits, but it's like, "Okay, whatever. I still love you at the
Right.
end of the day," like,
Right. It's like that with us because of the work we do. It's not
facts.
like that. It hasn't been like that for me in other relationships.
I know.
But, and it hasn't been like that for you
I
either.
know.
And it's not like that for a lot of y'all. So, we all know, right? We
Yeah.
know, we get it. But because we do practice what we preach on a daily basis is why the exchange is always equal. It's always good too. Like
Right. So I was kinda like I was taken aback
at my
at
trigger.
the emotion.
Yeah, it came
I
left
was
field.
because I didn't understand the emotion because
Right.
I was like,
It was
yeah,
so
like I
random.
am like I was sharp in that moment. But normally she just be
Yeah, normally I'm like,
it's just like
okay, bitch, like you good, I'm good, whatever.
whatever.
Exactly. That's usually
But
how it is.
this time it was just like,
Right.
okay.
What? It was
That's why I was just like,
it was boohoo crying. Like, y'all, I was so triggered. I was
she
moved
was done with
immediately.
the
I was
conversation,
done
like getting
immediately.
up and like,
Yeah. I was
I
like
just can't talk to you right now. I'm just like, what? Because I'm checking myself. I'm like, yeah, like she's mentioning the things and let me know how I am and behaving. But I'm like, I'm aware of that. Like
we were
I'm
only
aware of
we were
what I
only
was
2
doing.
minutes in the
That was
conversation
it.
too. 2 minutes
It
into
was it. And it
conversation,
was like,
I was triggered so bad. I was so dysregulated in that moment.
yeah.
And it felt so it didn't feel good at all, y'all. It came out of nowhere. It was just
Hmm.
like, you don't appreciate secondhand information. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what secondhand information? Like, I immediately felt like something was my fault,
Right.
which
And
is
I was
fu
like,
but which
I'm
is
not fault
which
finding
is
here.
my mother wound. My unique
Right.
mother wound is it's my fault energy,
Mm.
okay? And again, this is passed down generations. So, um, when I heard I don't appreciate secondhand information, I immediately felt that I did something. Like, what did
Mm.
I do now?
Right. And
'Cause
I'm like,
that's exactly how I felt. I felt like a little girl again, like, in that moment,
right. It was
and
wild.
the body, it's like the
Hmm.
emotion, it's like it must have been
You
a
saw
buildup.
the little girl like come up
I
and out
felt
and was like,
yeah, yeah, my body and everything was moving like
it's
that,
like,
and it was
oh.
coming up, and the tears and everything was welling up, and I just I was holding it in because I had to take it to school, but we cry in front of her, like, we express she has to see it, she has to know it, she has to know
Hmm.
that it exists, so we don't shy or hide that. She see mommy crying, blowing those, and she hear us debating or whatever, she's right there, so she can see and hear and see, like, this is
Can work it
normal.
out.
Like, it will be worked out. There's still unconditional love. Like, we get to
Hmm.
cry, we get to yell a little bit sometimes.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We hug each other, we talk it like, she needs to see that. And
Absolutely.
so, I'm crying a little bit, like, I'm letting it out, but I'm also like, I'm feeling like I just wanna cuss straight out because my feelings are hurt but I didn't wanna do that. So what I did was I respectfully exit out of the conversation with a you know what? I'm not gonna be able to have the conversation with you right now. I don't wanna have it from the space that I'm in currently. And, yeah, like,
And
I
I have
can't.
to, yeah. And I was working on like because I be wanting to say it now, like I be wanting to
Yeah,
go through,
and
move through it now because let's
yeah.
move through it now.
And you was
But
like, "See, but you was also being a little petty." And I think this is because of how the information you just
hmm,
told me about being
hmm,
cranky. You was just cranky
yeah, from not
because you
sleeping.
was like, you was being an asshole. You was like, "See, you don't wanna talk about it like this, how we're not gonna be able to work it out." Like, you said something along those lines.
Because that's
And
what I'll be
I'm
working on
like,
because I'm like, let's get it out now
"See,
because I
you don't
don't
wanna
even
talk
know,
about it."
right?
And I'm like, I'm literally well, I didn't even pay that no mind
I
because
know you
I know
didn't.
he was being petty
It
because you
was.
knew I was walking out the door and I had to walk out the door.
Right.
So I'm like, now you wanna play, and I'm not for it right this second. I'm not for it
Ah.
right this second.
So, I love that, but still that okay, so before you transition into the next part, I
Mhm.
always wanna just mention, like, so we pushed through because we knew it wasn't that big of a deal and
Right.
still had an amazing, like, family day.
Amazing.
Family
Yes.
time, we do it in the morning. I said family day,
Yeah.
but family time in the morning, which is our
Mhm.
gratitude, it starts with the 42, declarations of righteousness,
Yeah.
which is my aunt starts there, and then we go into Psalms 23,
Yes.
um, and then we give gratitude, and then we end it with, honoring, our ancestors and, Infinite
Yeah.
Source, Mother, all everything.
That's our morning
So
ritual. That's what we do.
so it was like it still needed to get done even though it did not take place,
Ooh, I had
at the
attitude.
house. We still had to, like, get it done, and
Uh-huh.
it was like, "Alright, well, I'm going to call you,
Yep.
and we're going to do it, so put me on
Mhm.
speakerphone,"
Yep. Yep.
and it worked. So
It did.
even
It did
through
work.
that,
It did.
I believe also too that space and time with the drive time and
Yep.
then with the
Definitely.
gratitude piece.
Mhm.
When all any of us is moving through something, even Kimmy, it's so funny. Our gratitude be stank.
So I'm grateful for water.
I'm grateful for water.
Okay.
I'm grateful for my hair. I'm grateful for
Real
my
talk.
nails.
We be so
And I was like,
sting.
okay, so now you just being basic. Not discounting that you are not grateful for that, but we know the intentions
Right,
of the
right. You said
gratitude. You just
now you just wanna be
now
basic.
you just want to
Now
be
you wanna
basic because she
usually
be preaching
giving us a word.
and be giving prayers at the end, like or honoring at the end, like I'm like, okay, and be coming through with the words.
Right. She
But you know
do.
when she's be petty, so. But
Right.
we in that moment though, like even with us as adults, like we had some really good gratitude in the midst of that. So it also helps
We
to
did.
lighten up the mood a bit when we were able to go through that process.
Right. Did your mood had to be have to be lightened?
Mm-mm.
Or were you already
No,
okay?
I
Would
was
you
already okay. I knew that you was also still moving through things as well. Like I didn't have per
but you were
se.
cranky though.
Yeah, I was
That's what I'm
cranky.
talking about.
Yeah, the gratitude. Yeah, in that piece, I'm gonna say yeah. I don't think it was much like an offense or anything like that because of
Mhm.
the conversation. I really just do think it was like being woke up and not being able to sleep because I have, some things going on and I'm just like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, and then you gave me more perspective too on,
Yeah.
like, your thought processes. You was coming from a totally different angle than
Yeah,
I
like
was. You
yes.
was like, "Yeah, I wanted to get, like, new tires on the car. I gotta go get Kimmy from school," and she thought
So
that
they need to know that part.
yeah, I'm telling
Okay.
you now.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as I didn't I like again, the plan in my
There
head
we
for the
go.
day wasn't concrete. Her plans, I was aware of some of them, but it wasn't concrete for me either. You didn't There was no direct time. Nothing was set in stone for me in my head. And so I didn't have no consideration for the tires getting done and stuff like that. I knew about Kimmy, but I completely forgot about the tires. You know what I mean? So yeah, so you had already the intentions of like getting things done that day that I didn't have in the forefront of my brain. So that could have also contributed to the tone as well, just because you don't like surprises when it comes to like scheduling and stuff like that. Like you a planner, like you want to know what's going on and the time and
It's yeah,
everything.
just the concreteness of it
Yeah.
because it just assists with because how my brain was operating at that time was literally the because we are driving our one car, it's
Mhm.
like, well, we know that Thursday is going to be busy. We had clients and things of that nature. So I'm still in my mind because how are we going to fit you being able to go downtown and then Kimmy being picked up?
Right. No,
Like there
it's
was so
valid.
many different things in that.
Right.
And because I knew at some point in the day I was going to go get the tires exchanged and everything like that. So,
Mhm.
but it was just like, what in the world? Like,
Yeah, no,
how are we going to
it's
have that much time?
right, it's
Right?
valid, and so we ended up everything worked out beautifully,
It
like, we ended
did.
up doing a Zoom meeting because it's true, like, I when I was making these plans, when I had spoke to her, when I asked her the question in the morning, I didn't even realize that I had a client at 12.
Right.
That's another thing, but nothing was concrete, so it to me, it's just like I'm cardinal, so I'm flowing, you know what I mean? Like, it's not concrete, I'm trying to figure it out. And so if it worked out, everything worked out. However, this is what else that happened.
Right.
So, um, like, I came back, dropped Kimmy off of school. The ride was great because I
Facts.
was able to do the
That's
things to regulate my body. Like,
yeah.
when you're dysregulated and you feeling some way, you feel the energy, it's superficial, your body's holding, like, you're tense. Um, what you do to bring yourself back down really matters. So in the car, I took the time to do that, which was just breath work and self-talk, like, out loud.
Right, I'm finna be funny right now too,
What?
self-talk out loud. So, y'all, check this out real quick.
What?
So, she had to go pick up something from Sprouts for me,
Oh, yeah,
right, at
I
the
did.
store. So, tell this how she did me. She gonna call me
What?
on FaceTime, go ahead and have the camera face towards the actual product, and cause she was still moving through. Like, so I'm thinking like, "Okay, she FaceTiming," like, I'm excited, really, I am. I opened the damn Facebook or I'm sorry, the
FaceTime.
FaceTime, and I'm looking at the product. Is this the one you want? They come in like 3 different sizes. Paka, 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 paka. I'm like, yo, and then
There's more?
yo, Yo, normally there's just like, you know what? All right, okay, cool, baby, love you. Girl, how come it was just a boom? You know how like when you hang up on FaceTime, it does that little boom, like it don't go boop, 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 hang up. Yo, it was so quick. I was like, oh, okay. So I was like, she's really I like the energy, not her, because we say that all the time because it's not
Mhm.
her, but the energy
It's
is
moving
working my
through.
nerves. It's working my nerves this word. I was like, I'm happy, excited to see her on FaceTime, but I'm looking at the damn product.
That's hilarious.
Terrible. Anyway, she was still moving through.
I
Mhm.
was. That's funny.
Stank.
You must have just remembered that because
Girl, I
you didn't
filed
bring it up.
folders
You
at
didn't bring it up
all.
at
Yo,
all.
I
This sounds
filed
like a couple of
folders
days
at
ago.
all, bruh. Like,
What else you got in there? Like, just go ahead and bring it out.
girl, because I thought it was funny. Like those types of things. I'm like, I know she didn't.
Ah,
I'm like, okay, okay.
yeah.
Okay,
So
I'm gonna remind her of herself.
that is hilarious. Like, I did do that, and I was still feeling away. I was the music energy was definitely moving. Like, bitch, I'm not finna face you. Nah,
I'll do a hand clap. That shit was funny.
I can't. I can't. But so
Oh man.
I got back to the space with everything and whatever.
Right.
Um I can't with the technology. So I got back to the space. And I'm still moving through. So I'm not really every time I'm moving through, I get quiet. Like I get silent. I'm just like, the energy of like, I don't even want to talk right now. Is here. And she comes in, there's no words. Just literally, I'm just doing my thing.
Right.
Nothing.
I
I'm just
came in from the
silent.
tire exchange.
Uh-huh.
And it was like she had her,
Silence.
she was sitting down. I'm coming in. I was like, okay, the tires are done or whatever. And then she's got her little book. And I'm like, yo, like the energy still stinks up in this piece. So I'm over here like I don't even know what to do right now. So I'm like, okay, she ain't trying to
Pacing, right.
talk. I'm like over it, just like and then the next thing you know, I was like, you know what? Like you ready to talk about what you said you wanted to talk about when you left? Like you said you said let you get some time. They should let you have that time.
I don't remember saying I wanted to talk about it. I remember
Mm,
just leaving and
see,
just being in
that's what the
tears.
energy be doing. She said she wanted to talk about it later. You did.
Well, probably, yeah, because we needed to. But
She
I don't remember
paused
it
for a
though.
moment, like,
Because I
she's
was trying
still
to
trying
think
to go
I'm
through the
trying
database,
to
like, Imma blink my eye, like, if y'all have ever seen, Altered Carbon, that shit is funny, like, when they're, like, downloading stuff, their eyes go
Oh my god,
but
yo.
anyways, bro, like, seriously, like
No, because I always do want to talk about it though. As a master
right,
communicator, my higher self is like, bitch,
right,
you need to talk about it.
but but
Bottom line. I don't
but
care if you got an attitude.
Connie just be like, "I wanna talk about it right now." I'm like, "No, we finna get through this."
Right. No, yeah, so
Yeah.
you was like, "You ready to talk about it?" And you was mad aggressive and shit.
I always am.
I was like, I mean,
Because I was like, I had to prepare for whatever was fitting to come out your mouth because it's like, okay, I got armor up, shields up. So let me come a little bit aggressive with it. Yo, you ready to talk?
why you say am I aggressive? I'm passionate.
Girl.
Girl, what?
Okay, I'm sorry. Like, cause we got these words, we gotta just like move them around. But the energy was aggressive. She
My
is
energy?
passionate. She is passionate.
Oh,
But I know when you get in that tone, that mode, you be moving. And
is
I'm
it
like,
aggressive?
oh yeah, it is.
It is?
Yeah. Girl, don't over here trying to be all sweet
I
and
know it's
look and
no, no,
turn
no. No,
and
no,
act like you
no.
don't be girl when it comes. The sweetness is
No,
just
I
as
know it's passion.
woo, the
I know it's
rottenness is there
fire.
too. Yeah, there's different tone, there's different there's the passion, there's the thing, there's straight agitation and like leave me the hell alone energy. Like there's so
True.
many things going on.
As
It's
a
just the
Cancer, it's
energy.
true. It's moody.
Seriously.
I'm moody as
So
hell.
that's why it's like, yo, I'm coming mad
True.
aggressive. So all for you to just look up and look at me and practice
I did.
all at the
I
same time
did.
because I know I was like, you, what you gonna say?
Right. You came at me so
What you
hard.
gonna say, boo?
Right.
And you just like, yeah, I'm ready. While all types of stuff was like, girl, you know what? I'm finna rip your head off right now.
I didn't.
But
I
you
didn't.
didn't.
I
You
didn't.
was just like, okay, I'm
I
ready.
wasn't ready. I
You
didn't want to be ready. I
you didn't
was
want
ready, but I
to.
didn't want to be ready.
You want to talk about?
I didn't.
I was like, no, we finna get this now because I'm not finna. go through the rest of this 20,
I'm not
minutes,
going
30 minutes with this silence. I can't do it. You got me
It's so
pacing.
crazy because
You got me pacing. You get me pacing. I'm like, okay, we gonna have to like you gonna have to go in stealth and aggressive real
oh
quick.
my
Go
gosh, you're
in quick,
ridiculous.
in
You're
and out,
ridiculous.
real quick.
Nah, you're ridiculous. Cause when it's your turn, when you be in stink, girl, it's no words. Just don't touch me. Like it's complete distance. Like no nothing.
It's just a drawback. It's just a pullback.
It's not just a pullback. It's a pullback.
It's a
It's a
pullback.
full pullback.
You know how you go,
It's
what's
full.
saying? 2 steps forward and take 2 steps back.
But yeah, so we're both very
That's what it is.
proficient at
Paula
creating that space.
Abdul. There we go.
But you're so silly. I can't. But yeah, I was not I didn't want to be ready, but I was. And so, she hops on over and we get into the conversation. And the conversation, y'all, always starts with the story. We recap like, okay, well, what happened?
You
Like,
gotta.
let's start right from the beginning. And we
Boom.
did. And through that conversation, and it took a couple of minutes because at first I wasn't, again, I wasn't ready to have the conversation. So at first it was just
That you see how y'all see a little look with the eye
yeah,
grimace. That's what she
that's
do.
exactly. I hope y'all catching it. Like that's how you're so dramatic. But you know that.
I do.
And it takes me
But
to
not
know it.
all the
But
time.
yes, you are. You
Not
are.
all the
You are.
time.
You are. And it's okay. But yeah, y'all. So the conversation happened and so much clarity came out. It ended with me in tears, like tears and snotty nose, like the full release of what my body was like, "Hey, I'm ready to let go of. I'm ready to let it go now." Like we needed this trigger, we needed this catalyst so that I can actually rise up in you so that you can be aware that I'm still here and you could do the work to release me. And that's how it was.
And the thing is too, like when you're wanting to communicate, with somebody that, obviously there's an issue with, like approaching it in a way that says like, I really want to work this out and
Right.
listen
Yes.
versus
Yes.
like, just say what you gotta say, and then you're interrupting and cutting off, and you trying
Mhm.
to be understood, and they trying to like it just creates, a Tasmanian devil whirlwind of bullshit that
Yeah.
takes place, and nobody at the end of the day gets any
Yeah.
understanding.
I
But I
yeah.
came to the table really wanting to know what happened
Mhm.
because what I had said, which I know was sharp as hell and everything, she normally doesn't respond
Right.
that way. So it was just like, okay, the recap was just like, okay, literally, what is it that I may have done
Mhm.
that could have caused
Mhm.
these things? Like, what? Let's go through the process.
Right.
And then, once that happened, you were able to really just kind of hear the story from my perspective,
Mhm.
listen, take it in, and then you were able to speak your story. And then
Mhm.
that's how both of them was able to come together and that homeostasis was happening. Like that
Mhm.
alchemical was taking place because things were like pong, 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 pong.
Right. And even in the conversation, so I will say this, like the gem that she just gave about like the desire of like wanting to understand and wanting to work it out is so real because even though she initiated the conversation with a little aggression just because she didn't know how I was going to respond, she immediately gave nurturing space. Like she pointed the finger at herself. Like, what did I do to make you feel some type of way? Run me back. Like, you know what I mean? So she took some of the edge off just by that movement alone. It made me feel safe enough to be like, okay. And I gave her all the words. And then, we practice all the time. And so, like she said, we both had our time to speak and we were able to put the pieces together. And at the end of the conversation, the energy was moving up and out, and I still felt some type of way. And you was like, yeah, I feel like a hug or some type of physical touch is appropriate after a conversation like this. Like she literally said that.
Hmm.
Um, and I was like, okay,
She do that all the time because she don't want to.
fine.
She want to stay in it.
Mhm.
She
Right.
want to stay in because y'all, we talked about that IV drip and that
The
addiction.
stress. It feels so
All right.
good. Right. Mhm.
I just wanna stay here, feel it. No.
Oh, man.
Why?
Right, right.
But that's
Man.
how she always is, like,
Mhm.
'cause
A lot of
knowing
us are
that
like that.
physical touch is, like, one of those things that is a desirable, um,
It helps my
love language.
release.
It helps
It's
helps with the
mine.
release.
Yeah, it's my primary.
The primary, yeah. Again, y'all, like, sometimes I feel like I don't know what I'm doing in instances like that, but then, like, I just be saying stuff and it be right. I be trusting myself a lot more just to say what the hell it is I'm needing to say. And I
Mhm.
literally what she said, it came out like that.
Yeah.
It's like, "Do you I think we should, hug after,
Mhm.
having, like, a deep conversation like this."
Right, and
Uh,
so yeah.
yeah. That was
You
it.
gonna
Yeah.
okay. We and the end of the conversation just came to a basic happy medium, I guess. Like, this is my perspective, this was yours, and this was my intention, and this was yours, and I shay on that. Like, okay, it
That's
is what it
it.
is. Like, like, but you didn't the part about like you being cranky and like being up, that didn't come up in the
Yeah.
conversation.
Mm-mm.
That was the disclosed just now
Yeah.
because it's a daily. You're not going to uncover everything in one day. In one, even
Yo.
if you had a full day of conversations, you're not going to uncover everything in those conversations. Like, it's always something more to discover when it comes to the healing. It's layers, you know what I mean? It's layers. So by the end of the conversation, child, I still was not having it. I was like, all right, like, I'm ready to do something else. Like, and then she was like, we need a hug. And I'm like, okay, fine. And she always does this to me. Every time I like I hug her and she hugs me, the release just comes. It's like I let go, like my body, even though I don't wanna let go, because 'cause I'm like, again, like, still, like, it's the resistance. But I let go and, oh my god, it was just like a wave of emotions. Like, I felt like a little girl again. I felt all these feelings that I hadn't felt in so long of, like, I'm being blamed and it's my fault and I'm not sure why. I'm confused. Um, I'm angry, you know what I mean? I'm frustrated, feel like I'm not heard, I'm not acknowledged. All these feelings came up that I hadn't felt in so freaking long.
Mm.
And I just allowed myself to feel it because I already knew that this is the release. And in order for the release to take place, I have to feel it. Like I have to feel what's coming up and out. And so thankfully, I have you because you was just there to hold me. And that is so healing in itself, being held physically as your body is releasing the emotion that has been stored for decades. That is so, so, so healing. So thank you for that. I really appreciate that.
Like,
Yeah.
you're very welcome. Um,
Mhm.
I just I I don't want you to have to hold that shit in.
Right.
It
Right.
doesn't feel
It
good, and I
doesn't.
want to, so Mind and Body Wellness was created as a safe place,
Right.
right? In a safe space. So if that was created that way, like I always want to make sure that, no matter what type of conversations that we're having, that it is
Mhm.
safe,
Right. And vice versa.
and
Yeah.
then, how many times it's like you're crying. That goes for everybody, me, you, and
Mhm.
like you just want somebody to hold you.
Yes. Yes. We all want to be held. We all want to be
Like
held.
and
That
that
mother
and
energy,
that embrace
that
is like you're
nurture.
not by yourself and like
Right.
you're gonna get through it. I know it
Right.
feels like it's painful
Mhm.
because we all felt that pain before. I
Yeah.
know what you're going through, similarity because of the energy of the pain, but your walk with what you have to transcend is different than mine. But
Right.
I can feel the similarity in the pain because
Right,
it's a
right.
release.
Yeah, exactly, and it's the same a lot of us have the same trapped emotions, from the same types of traumatic experiences stored in our bodies. That's the thing. A lot of us share a lot of these emotions. So when they come up and out, like we can see it in others because they exist in us.
Yeah.
Okay. Like if you can call something out in somebody else's, bro, I'm gonna just tell you right now, it's because it already exists within you. That's how you know it so well. It's familiar. You know it
Facts.
like the back of your hand. Um, and yeah, and that's just what it is. And so, yeah, you held me and I released it. It was so painful. those emotions or sensations also brought memories. And we sat back down and continued the conversation, but the conversation was so different this time.
Yes.
It was actually about the actual thing, the it factor, the core root um, belief, and it was just more release. And then I had a client. Like all of this is happening as we're working, you know what I mean? Serving the community because this is what the environment was created for. This is like home is where
The hardest.
the heart is, but home is where some of the most sacred work is done. And I
Ooh,
learned that from Miyogi. Yes. Shout out to Maya
absolutely.
because
Shout
that
out
was such
Maya.
a beautiful word of like wisdom. It's like it's so true. And in this space, we set the intention for ourselves to heal, our children to heal, our family to heal. And we're actually doing the work on that behalf, like following up that intention with our actions. And so yeah, it's gonna happen. It's just gonna happen. So I had the release and had my client, and my client was moving through like the same exact thing with her
Mm,
mom, right? Um, Meaning like the being exposed and trying to find like creating boundaries, and acknowledging the pain. And
mm,
I was so vulnerable in that moment because I just finished crying. So I just felt like I had the opportunity to let her know, like, if you're wondering why my eyes are red, I just finished crying because I'm releasing my mother wound of it's my fault. And she totally understood. And it just that bridged us. Like that is what connected us and made it such an amazing session for her. Um, she was totally transformed, and that was her very first massage. And her body was misaligned when she came in. Like physically, you could see the misalignments. And by the time I was done, she was back to homeostasis with her shoulders. And
mhm,
she said she went from a 7 to a 2, and she was like, wow,
mhm.
wow,
I'm telling you.
wow. So yeah, this conversation is a hot topic right now. It's a lot of women moving through the same things with their moms, and I want to highlight a few things, um, because it helps me support my nervous system when it comes to my own mother wound. Um, where do I want to start? I guess I'll
Wherever
start
you want. Yeah.
right. I guess I'll start with the questioning. Right. I want you guys to think about this. The same pain that you have, your mother also has. Right. Think about the environment that she was in with her mother, and put yourself in her shoes. Like, ask questions, like, how did she turn out this way? Or, let me, matter of
Mhm.
fact, let me pull up because I have questions right here that I already wrote. Let me just
And this
pull it
also
up.
can go for the, paternal side as well, or no, yeah, paternal, which is you can ask yourself the same questions
Oh,
about that when if you've experienced something like that with your father as
oh,
well.
yeah. Universal.
Yeah.
Universal. But yes. So some of the questions that came to me that I wrote out was, who did our mothers have to confide in after any type of abuse?
Mm,
What leaders did they have to guide them into emotional releases? What resources did they have to help process trauma or even acknowledge it as such? Right? Like, I want us to start asking those types of questions because the same way, what's going on with the computer? Is it still on?
yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm like, okay, child, what is going on? The same way that we are moving through our own trauma and emotions and dysregulation is the same way that our mothers are moving through that as well. They just had way less resources than we do.
Mm.
The times were different for them back then.
Yes.
The times were different. The world was
Oh
different.
my gosh, was it?
You know
My
what I mean?
goodness.
And oftentimes, the things that our mothers experienced, they don't even identify as trauma. They are so embedded in the behavior and the pattern that
Yeah.
there's nothing nobody could do. And so now the narcissistic personality is created because of the unacknowledged trauma that our mothers are storing in their own bodies, right? So with some of the experiences that they had, it's almost like how could they not? How could they not have a narcissistic personality with everything that they were exposed to in their environment? And that's I want to encourage us all to start thinking like that because when you do, you will get answers. You will discover the clarity that will justify the thought processes and the behaviors. And then when you have that concrete information, you're going to
Mhm.
be able to detach yourself emotionally from what was. And you're going to develop and find compassion and forgiveness. And I'm talking to like forgiveness without closure, is what I'm talking about. Compassion, okay, without judgment,
Mm.
unconditional love without expectations.
Mhm.
These are the things that I'm finding after the release for myself. And so I know that if I can come across those things, you could too. We all could. But it does take work. It
It
takes a
does.
choice. It takes making a decision. And it's like you got to push past the hurt. Like you got to detach yourself. This is where emotional intelligence comes in. And this is where knowledge will serve you and research will serve you because
Facts.
once you have concrete evidence of like how a personality can be developed, you cannot hold it against your mother anymore. You can't hold it against her because she was also a victim at some point. She was also a victim at some point. The only difference now is that you have the awareness that you were a victim. You have the awareness that you were traumatized. You have the awareness that there's some, stored emotions and your mom does not.
Mm.
So you're doing the work, releasing and evolving, and you're reframing thoughts and behaviors. You're actually transforming yourself from the inside out. And your mom is not. And you're wanting her to be of the same
Yeah.
caliber that you are. But it's like
Doesn't yeah.
it can't
Can't.
be. But also what I could say in my own experience is that, my mom definitely broke some chains. She definitely um, reframed some behaviors because of how I came out. I
Evolution.
was so
Yeah.
wise as a little girl. And that realization for me was an indication that some clearing had been done. Some clearing had been done.
Facts.
There was many things that, my mother didn't do to her children that she may have experienced in in her environment, you know what I mean? And she knew that if I take this part of parenting out, my kids will be better. And she did that. She did that to a certain extent. And I feel like a lot of our mothers do that. They do the best they can with what they have. And so I want to encourage us all to think outside the box a little bit and harness that compassion energy for our mothers because at the end of the day they gave life to us and we're here and infinite source creator loves us unconditionally and showers us with grace. We can hold grace and forgiveness and unconditional love to our mothers even if they are still choosing to be hurtful. This is where now healthy boundaries come into place, you know, and you discover, what's appropriate for you and the regulation of your nervous system. So if a healthy boundary looks like speaking to your mom once or twice or maybe 3 times a month, then that's what it is,
Mm.
you know? That's what it is. Sometimes your mothers are not supposed to be on the journey with you, and that's okay. Like it's everybody is not going to travel with you, and that's not their purpose. It's not their purpose. Um, so yeah.
That
Mhm.
was wonderful.
Yeah.
That
It
was
felt so
wonderful.
good.
Yeah.
It feels so good to even know that there was a mother wound contributing
Mhm.
to my undesirable outcomes because the energy of it's my fault, it 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 existed for years in my life. Like I found myself in so many situations to where I really felt like it was my fault or like yeah, it was my fault energy, like
Mm.
the sabotage, like
Mm.
the example that I gave when we were with Rachel
Mm.
and I was talking about the scholarship and my grants that I sabotaged. You
Mm.
know what I mean? It's my fault, you know?
Mm.
Um and there's so many other experiences that I can think of. that made me feel like it was my fault, even if it wasn't. It was just the situation at hand fueling the energies in my body. Because
Mm,
when you have these trapped emotions stored in your body, guess what? They need to be fed their energy.
mhm,
So you're not going to be conscious of your behavior, but you're going to find yourself in situations to where now you're actually feeling the emotion that's stored
mhm.
in your body. The emotion's not getting released.
Facts.
You're just feeling it at a very extremely, it's very intense
Yeah,
because of the situation you're in. And that's the cycle. You're going to continue to find yourself in situations to where you feel these energies so intensely until you release them
period.
and you don't feel them as intensely anymore. You know, it's a process, y'all. Like you're not going to release, like once you release the trapped emotion of anger one time, trust, that's not the only, there's so
No.
many different experiences, so many different muscles, so many different emotions tied to different things that are stored
Mhm.
in our body. So you may release anger from, your mother wound of it's my fault today, but there could be another emotion of anger stemmed from a totally
Something
different
else.
experience in your
Yeah.
life that is
Mhm.
still residing in your body. It's
Facts.
still the same energy of anger, but it's from a totally different standpoint,
Mhm.
you know? And so yeah, it feels so good.
I think that's pretty awesome. And I just wanted to touch on something really quickly about what
Mhm.
you said. Like when you see it in somebody, like it obviously is in you. That has evolved for me. I say that
Mhm.
the reason why I can recognize it in somebody is because it existed once before
There you go. Yeah.
inside of me. So
Yeah.
because
That's the evolution of
that's the evolution of it. It's kind of like, oh, I recognize it because at one time
right.
this was, something that
Right.
was residing in me. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah, that's like that's life after the release.
there you go.
Life after the release is, but even if like before the release or during, like the bottom line is that if you are able to call something out in somebody else, it's because you have personal experience with it.
Boom.
I can evolve that statement.
Hmm.
You have personal experience with whatever it is that you can call and identify in somebody else.
There you go.
How's that?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're
Yeah.
right. A lot of the things that we can call out in people, we know that we've cleared it out of our own selves because we're not moved in the same ways. Like we're not offended at the same things. We don't get our feathers are not getting ruffled. We're not getting triggered or anything like that. And that's how you know you've really like it's released. It's out of you. So yeah, facts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Like that was my experience with it. I think I want to share this last paragraph in the post. And I want to invite all of you to read this blog that I wrote via my new newsletter on Substack. I'm so excited about this journey of being a writer. I've been a writer for all my life. I've just never seen myself as such because I was playing small. I was playing my mother wound kept me small, meaning the emotions stored in my body from the experiences that I was faced with, right? Inhibited my behavior and my expression when it comes to creativity. And so, because of that, I played small.
Mm.
I didn't go after opportunities. I was not trying to be seen or heard,
Because you
or
didn't want to.
I didn't want
And
to be seen as being great. Like, I was not using my voice the way that I'm using my voice now. I didn't
you
even
didn't want nothing
pray.
to be your fault.
I didn't want that to be my fault. There you go. I didn't want
You didn't
nothing
want to
to be
be your
my fault.
fault. Yeah.
And if I don't want something to be my fault, that's a revelation. Thank you.
You're
That
welcome.
is a revelation.
Yeah.
Yes, I didn't. I didn't want anything to be my fault.
Facts. So you run from it.
Mhm.
Opportunity. You run from
Yeah.
because if
I ran
anything
from
you
it.
ran, yeah. So you ran from it, not run,
Yeah,
but
I
you
ran
ran from
from
it.
it. Mhm.
So it's kind of like,
Yeah, that's real facts. That's real facts. And I started going after opportunities in when I was 23 with Herbalife. That was the first opportunity, not the first, but one of the major opportunities that shifted my life, in a major
yo,
way. It's what
it's
thrusted
coming
me
in.
into SMBW.
Yeah,
What
it's
happened?
coming. It's coming in. Like I know we got to wrap it up pretty soon, but
Yeah.
I just had a revelation, and I'm going right back to the story that I'm going to tell everybody at the wedding. It's going to be fun. So we're going to go back there
Oh my gosh. You will not let me live this down. You is fit to tell all the grandkids. I mean, everybody's just gonna know my business,
because
child.
it was a pivotal moment for me. I can like go back to that moment and like feel what that felt like in my timeline
Mhm.
to see somebody like so poised and going through what she had to go through, which is technical MFing difficulties,
Oh
y'all,
my god, it was
all through that.
stress.
But I'm not gonna give you the meats and potatoes because that comes later. But anyway, that whole technology, I mean, like, technology was crazy. Like, she wasn't able to, like, really do her
Oh,
the
man.
business pitch the way she had envisioned it,
The way I
and
practiced.
way she practiced,
Oh,
envisioned
oh my
everything. It was
god.
like, it's gonna be seamless. It was crazy because the technology was working right before she actually went live.
Right
It's
before.
crazy.
All the other contestants was fine.
But I can see how your tears were so much now. Like, I mean, I
I
came
was
around the corner
devastated.
like, "You freaking rock. Like, you did it." Like, I would have sent in the white flag and been like, "Yo, I'm not doing this with this technology like this." It was on not just our end, it was their end too.
Oh, yeah.
But yo, like, I was so proud of that moment.
Wow.
But she was crying so hard, but I'm thinking like, "Oh, it's my fault." She didn't know it at that time, but, like, that the way the tears were
Oh,
expressed
yeah.
was just like,
Like, I
"Whoa,
failed this
I
opportunity. It was
failed.
my
It
fault,
was my
like
fault."
yeah. I was crying so hard. I
Yeah,
was so disappointed. I was so upset.
yeah,
I felt defeated. I was defeated
yeah,
in that moment.
yeah.
And that was a breakthrough for me. I needed that moment to,
This is
um
voice cultivation
yeah, I
type of
needed that.
time.
I needed to just do it
Yeah,
so that I can get it done and just break through the
but
barrier of
yeah,
speaking in front of people about my own self, my own creation, you know what I mean?
yeah.
And
But
so, yeah.
specifically the emotion, because the tears, I didn't understand the tears. I thought you were gonna like, "Damn, I did it. Like, I got through that shit." Like, I thought that's how you were gonna respond because it was like, "Gee." But when
Wow.
it came out and you, like, we were coming around a corner about to hug you, and
You
then
know?
the tears just was like,
And it was like
"Ah,
it was, like, loud. It was very
whoa."
loud and, like, ugly.
Yeah. So,
Mhm.
but that emotion from that is, like I said,
The mother
for
wound.
the mother one. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see
There
that.
was multiple things going on,
Multiple.
cultivation, but I'm just the specific emotion because you were cultivating your voice at that time. There's so many
Yeah.
lessons in, like, one situation that we can go back to the story,
I
but
know.
in
So
this
much in there.
instant, I'm like, "Oh, that makes sense of
Yeah.
why she wasn't feeling the way I was feeling." Like, "Yo, I did that. I don't even care about win any or get anything at this
Right.
point." Like, that shit
Right.
was I did that.
Right.
That was
No,
that
I
was
did not
that
feel like
was
that, honey. I was like, I feel like I failed. Like, I'm so defeated. Shit was fucked up. Everything was messed up. Like, all the technology was
Woo!
messed up. Like, everything.
Yeah,
It was justifiable for
yeah.
it's my fault energy
So,
for sure.
yeah,
Thank you. That was, yeah, that was so,
you're
that was
welcome.
deep. Yeah. So I want to read to you guys this last paragraph that I wrote on Substack. It's such a good read. I'm having so much fun um exploring this platform
For
as a
sure.
writer. So cool. All right, so here we go. I'm healing. We are healing.
Mm,
Our mothers are healing with the work we are doing for ourselves. Let us detach emotionally from what was and move forward in ways that support our heart's desire and regulated nervous systems.
mm,
Sometimes the journey doesn't include close proximity with our mothers, and that's okay. Unconditional love still exists.
mm. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's okay.
it's okay. It's okay. And may we continue to do the work for ourselves, our children, and our mothers. Don't leave your mother behind. You may not have a relationship with her, but don't leave her behind. Keep her in your thoughts. When you're clearing your energy, clear her energy too. No matter how much of a bitch she may be towards you, no matter how much anger she may
It's
have,
not
and just,
hers.
it's not her. It's
Mm-mm.
not her. It's the energy stored in her body.
Mhm.
And so this is transcendence. This is Christ energy. This is what unconditional love is, yo. We receive it all the time unconditionally from infinite source.
Mm.
We can do it. We can do it. You know. So I want to end the conversation there.
Okay.
It was so beautiful, but I will be writing more about it on my blog. So I'll make
Okay.
sure I'll link it for you guys. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe to our
Absolutely.
channel. Share this conversation with anyone you feel is aligned. We are a community and we love everybody that's coming in. You guys are so amazing.
Mhm.
And it's truly an honor to do what we do and to do it how we're doing it too. People are telling us all the time, "Oh my god, you guys are doing such great work." And we really appreciate that. Thank y'all for seeing us.
'Cause it definitely is, really it feels good to me to be acknowledged in that area, so
Yes.
I'm
To be
not even gonna
acknowledged,
lie.
period. Be
I ain't gonna
acknowledged.
lie.
People, our clients are so beautiful. They come in with gifts. They love on us in all ways. In all, it feels so good when people come in and we're giving hugs and kisses like we're family. It's like, "Oh
Mm.
my gosh, how are you? Oh my god,
Been
we
waiting
missed
on this,
you. We've
yeah.
been waiting on this." Like that shit feels so good. It fills me up. That's why we don't wanna be on social media like that, because 'cause we're literally immersed in the actual experience of service.
There you go.
And what we do is so pure.
Mm.
It's so unconditional. So everybody that comes through, it's deep. It's like we're so deeply connected. We're already talking about deep shit. We're already like releasing together. We're already like building rapport. It's like, girl, where you
You're not
been?
alone, yeah.
Even the guys, shout out to the guys that come through and they're on their healing journey.
Yeah.
They will sit in here and talk to us for hours. Okay? Like, they will sit and talk, and it's just amazing what we're creating and what we're doing.
Mm.
I'm super grateful that
Somebody said, I forgot. It
what?
was the ancestor portal. They said as they was driving down the road, they was seeing the
We created a
chemtrails and
whole
shit. They was like, I was like, "What's
chemtrails.
some chemtrails?" They was like, "Yeah,
She
in
was
the
like, "It's
sky."
right
Yes,
there," and it
right there
was.
you
It
go.
really was.
And then it was like, "Yo, they just driving down Pinellas Park and just like see like a whole ancestral portal." I'm like,
That's
"Yo, I
lit.
can receive that
That's
because
lit.
yo, like when we say we're doing some work, I know I'm doing some work in that avenue with the ancestors. But yeah,
Yeah, shout out to the ancestors.
woo,
But
man."
yeah, that was such a great episode.
Yeah, I
That
love
was
it. I
such a great
appreciate it. Thanks
episode.
for everybody again. Gratitude who tuned in.
Yes.
Again, as Coney said, like, share, and subscribe
We're gonna link
to
everything down below.
the channel for sure. And as always, like if this touches the ears of one person,
Okay, yeah. I thought you was gonna say the ending.
yeah, I'm going
Sorry.
through. Yeah, and I'm super excited about that. I love that. So
Yeah, the
transcendence is
influence.
here.
But
The influence.
before we say the ending quote, are we supposed to do like another ad? I don't even know. We said
Yeah, we
did
can
we?
definitely. What you got in mind?
I was just trying to
Roll
be
credits.
roll credits.
So
I don't
this is
know.
what
I'll have
happens
one.
when structure and flow like meet each other and they're like,
Right.
okay, well we're going.
Because
I'm
we
like,
did say
if
we
we're
was gonna do
feeling good, like see this is the thing. If it's like we could or can do it, but because the conversation's been so
we
really
didn't
so
yeah,
good,
we was like,
it was not a desire to do that. Let's just
right, you're
always
right.
flow with it
I love that.
as like let's set a plan
Mhm.
because we know our plans will get demolished, right? They get
Facts.
demolished all the time. Not because we want them
Right.
to be
All the
demolished, but it's like
time.
what are we in control of? Our emotions. Not how production's gonna go, not if it's gonna
You're not
like
in control
lag. I'm
of
not in control of that.
yet.
None of that.
Right.
So it's good to have a comprehensive plan.
I like it.
But I love the fact that if it's flowing, it's flowing. If there's no, if it doesn't happen, it
True.
doesn't. If it did, it's not going to be the end of the like production or anything
I
because we
love
don't get
that.
too as in.
I love that.
You know what I'm saying? So let's just
Yeah,
keep
it's
it
less pressure.
exactly.
Yeah,
So
on that note, yeah,
begin
begin the day with love,
fill the day with love.
end
End
the
the day
day with
with
love.
love.
Peace.
Peace.